Scott is driving to visit family. After 3 hours of driving, Scott traveled 180 miles. After driving for 5 hours at the same rate, he traveled for 300 miles. So we've got some choices here. We have to write the equation that represents the situation. So I'm going to take the information that we have. Once again, hopefully you paused the video or have written it down yourself. But it says after 3 hours, Scott has traveled 180 miles. And after driving for 5 hours, at the same rate, he has traveled 300 miles. So let me adjust my paper so that you can actually see the problem here. And then what has to happen here is we want to find the value of k, because in a direct variation equation, the equation that we're trying to write is y equals kx. Can't see it. Y equals kx. So in fact, what we're finding when we're finding the value of k is we're finding the value of the slope. So here is x1, here is y1, here is x2, and there's y2, and we're going to fill in the formula for slope, which is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. If we fill that in, we get 300 minus 180 over 5 minus 3. And 300 minus 180 is 120. 5 minus 3 is 2. And when we simplify that, 60. And again, when I was working these problems out, I started with, I said, that's m. But then when I finished here, I wrote k. And then to write the equation of this one, it's going to be y equals 60x. We're going to fill the 60 in for where k is. So there is one, and there's a couple more practice problems in here that are very similar. So I'm going to flip over on mine. And again, the computer gives you 5 practice problems. So you're not going to get all of these problems, but at least on these particular ones, I'm trying to put them together in the same video so you can kind of see how they work. Lance is selling strawberries at his local farmer's market. He sells 4 pounds of strawberries for $10 and 8 pounds of strawberries for $20, and it says which equation represents the situation. So again, if we go back here to our paper, it says 4 pounds of strawberries for $10 and 8 pounds of strawberries for $20. And what we want to do is we want to write the equation that represents the situation. So the same idea. Here's x1, there's y1, here's x2 and y2. We're going to get 20 minus 10 over 8 minus 4. 20 minus 10 is 10, 8 minus 4 is 4. And if we simplify that, we really get 5 halves if you're using decimals. And then I think on this problem, it leaves it in decimal form. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. Again, when we started, we used the slope formula, but in direct variation, that value of the slope is k, and we're going to fill back in the direct variation equation of y equals kx. So we're going to take this value of 2.5, and we're going to put it back in for k, and we get y equals 2.5x. And that is how Edmonton wrote the answer to that particular problem. There is one more problem like this. I think it is actually just the next problem. As I flip over here again to my iPad. And maybe you pause your sorry, my phone rang in the middle of that, but let's try again. And like I was trying to say, maybe you look at this problem and you try this on your own before you see me work it out and see if you did it correctly. So Isabella is selling lemonade. She sells a 6-ounce cup for $1.50 and a 12-ounce cup for $3. And it says write the equation that represents this situation. So once again, let's set up our ordered pairs. So we have, again, a 6-ounce cup for $1.50 and a 12-ounce cup for $3. And we want to write the equation that represents. So here's x1, here's y1, here's x2, y2. We're going to use those values to find the slope. So it's going to be 3 minus $1.50 divided by 12 minus 6. And 3 minus $1.50 is $1.50. And 12 minus 6 is 6. And when we divide those, if you can't do that in your head, just type it into a calculator. But it does come out to be 0.25, and 0.25 is the same thing as 1/4. And the reason why I know that is just going back, I do know it, as my iPad is being funny here for a minute, but if you notice, 1/4, 1/4, 4 over x, in terms of the answers there. So we can narrow it down actually to the first and the second answer. But remember, we were using the slope formula, but once we found that value, we get k, and then we get y equals 1/4 x. And just as an aside here, it is this answer right here. The x does not go on the bottom. X is, in fraction terms, it's x over 1. So it's either beside the fraction or in the top of the fraction. It will not go in the denominator, the bottom of the fraction.